For John 8:44 says this, "You are of your father the devil, and his will and your will is to do your father's desires." He was a murderer from the beginning and has nothing to do with the truth, because there is no truth in him. When he lies, he speaks according to his own nature, for he is a liar and the father of lies.
From a hot man to one of the hottest women in the business right now, Megan Fox with me now. Why do you shake your head?
Because I'm pretty sure I'm a doppelganger for Alan Alda.
Oh, God, out of here.
I'm a tranny. I'm a man.
You do not look in the mirror and not think you're beautiful. Don't even.
No, I'm so painfully insecure. Like, I'm on the verge of vomiting right now. I'm so horrified that I'm here and embarrassed. I'm scared.
Is this your first time here?
Yeah, it's my first time.
Everybody knows that you're a very attractive woman, but tell us, what would surprise people about Jessica Alba?
I'm a man.
To hit you with the 1-2 step, 106 and Park. Make some noise for Sierra! Come over there.
Welcome back, mama. Have a seat.
Sit down, sit down.
I like your boots.
Doing the boot thing,
Thank you so much. I gotta look at the heel. I gotta look at the heel. Very nice. You can hurt somebody with those.
Thank you so much.
All right, we're gonna jump right into it right now. We have a thing that we do sometime with celebrities that come over here. We do a whole clear the air session.
Yeah.
So if there are any rumors, anything that's going on with Sierra, which there are all on the internet and all that other mess, clear the air right now. Let the people know what's going on.
Oh my goodness, there's so many crazy, funny things.
Grimy.
And you know, I gotta say, none of them bother me, but I'll just do it just to do it because whatever. There's one thing about me being a man or something like that. Before I was something when I was born, I got a change.
Really?
Hermaphrodite or something like that. And they said that I went on Oprah and did it. And I'm like, okay, come on now. You know, if I was on Oprah, like, I mean, it takes a while before that happens for somebody going to Oprah. You know what I mean? Like, that's really big. So we know that didn't happen. If you can find it, though, I'll give you $100 grand and fly you around the world and do everything for you if you can find that tape and play it for me.
Right. Shut it down.
Yeah, and then there's something know, it's about me being a lesbian or something like that. I mean, it's so sad that I'm sitting right here in the dress, and it's like, it's so funny to me. And one thing that I feel about in life is that the bigger and better things get for you, the more people try to bring you down. And that's just the way I see it.
It's the truth.
So I mean, that's not true. I'm here to say it's not true. If you can do that, I give you $100 grand again, and I give you the car that I'm trying to buy coming up, my Range Rover that I want to get. I give it to you. I want to get it for myself.
Okay, and those are the ones. Those are the ones that you really.
Yeah, those are the two that I've heard. I mean, it's funny to me though. It don't bother me. It's cool. I've been through it in high school. I mean, it is what it is. It's all over again. It's whatever. It's fun. This is what I do. Whatever.
So that's all the drama that comes with your success.
Feminists of America, the leaders of your movement are and were men. Men, I will show you the man. One of the most touted one, now aging like finest goat's milk, with his trachea scar clearly visible. That trachea thing, it has to be cut out, because with the trachea staying intact and the Adam's apple, they rip the whole thing out so that they can't run the risk. They don't ruin the voice box, but they take that whole contraption out. But you know who didn't have hers taken out? Mr. Sandra Bullock. She was like, not today, boys. Not today. There's video of that young man laughing, and that thing is just going goong 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 like a yo-yo in his throat.
Sandra Bullock became a first-time parent at 45 after a long journey. I would have been pregnant at 17 if my mother hadn't kept me under lock and key, she shared. Instead, her mother guided her to a successful career, making her the highest paid actress in 2010 and 2014.
Oh my God.
The Lord said to me, Celestial, these two will be stripped of all their medals and all their accolades posthumously. I repeat, Venus and Serena Williams, thus saith the Lord, they will be stripped of all their medals, every accomplishment, all lauding. Lauding means high praise. All their rewards, everything that they have robbed from real women over nearly 30 years. Ever since they were first debuted on this show. You know, I will not get ahead of myself, so let me finish. Ever since they appeared on this show called Trans World Sport. Trans World Sport. God says every single thing that they stood in the way of. He's saying now they foiled many careers, especially that Serena. Particularly vicious that one is, and hates. That woman wanted to kill Naomi Osaka when she beat her fair and square. Because how can an XX beat an XY? And the rest of you, you supported her with bad behavior, booing that child. because you had no idea of that sore XY loser. Used to always winning, used to always dominating. God says those two have stalled many careers, robbed many crowns, he's telling me here, caused many tears, many girls cried. And they're too old now. Their chance to be tennis greats is done. The women who cried, the women who could have been, the women who had to settle for number 3 and number 4 their entire careers because men were sitting in their spot. Posthumously, thus saith the Lord. He said they will take everything away from them. They will strip every accolade. You've lived to see Lance Armstrong stripped, right? Just to know that I'm not going over into strange territory where you're saying she's making up things. You lived to see all those 8 doping Tour de France medals stripped from Lance Armstrong. So you cannot claim that you've never heard of awards and medals being stripped. And he keeps saying to me, posthumously. Posthumously. Posthumously means after you die. Ravi Zacharias all over again. Jeremiah 8, hear the word of the Lord, America. Even if you die, I, the Lord, shall dig up your bones and scatter them under the sun. If you haven't gone and read that chapter, I strongly suggest that people go and read the chapters that I give you here, because I'm not spending time here for nothing. They will be stripped of everything.
We're going to turn now to Serena Williams, speaking out this morning against the top tennis official who set up a firestorm with some offensive remarks, calling Serena and her sister Venus the Williams brothers. ABC's Rena Ninen here with the story. Good morning, Rena.
Good morning to you, George. That official, Shamil Tarpishev, is a member of the International Olympic Committee. He calls the whole thing a joke made on late-night Russian television and claims something was lost in translation.
She's known on the court for her powerful hits.
I thought they were, in a way, bullying.
But this morning, tennis superstar Serena Williams breaking her silence off the court, taking aim at the head of the Russian Tennis Federation, Shamil Tarpishev, over controversial comments he made last week.
I thought his comments were very insensitive. I thought they were extremely sexist as well as racist.
In an appearance on Russian television, Tarpishev referred to Serena and sister Venus as the Williams brothers, later going on to say, quote, "It's frightening when you look at them, but really you just need to play against the ball." The comments igniting a firestorm in the tennis world. The Women's Tennis Association quickly fining Tarpishev the tour maximum, $25,000, and banning him for a year.
I think the WTA did a really great job of taking initiative and immediately taking action.
Fellow superstars also rushing to Williams' defense, including world number 2, Maria Sharapova.
I think they're very disrespectful and uncalled for, and I'm glad that many people have stood up, including the WTA.
In a statement, Tarpishev said that his comments were only meant as a joke and that he doesn't think this incident deserves so much fuss. Serena, currently ranked number 1 in the world, is in Singapore for the WTA Tour Finals, which gets underway later today.
And the U.S. Tennis Association chairman wants Tarpishev to issue a formal apology to the sisters, and the International Olympic Committee is asking him for a full explanation of his comments. George and Robin.
So wait and hear what he has to say about that. Okay, Rena, thanks very much.
To shoot me for if you saw me in public is nothing but a lie. That you fight for lies, you cry for lies, you become defensive about lies. You're probably in pain, some of you, piercing pains, but you are in pain because you are hearing that the Williams sisters are men. Yes, they are. Go and report my racism all over the internet. I was even seeking God, should I? And he said, bring their names up. No lie will slumber. Your top athletes that you say she's dominating because she's full of testosterone, full of it. You go and look at those 2 so-called little girls and you are looking at 2 little boys in hair slides. Open your eyes, America. Apply the eye salve quickly. Apply the eye salve quickly.
material available on how facial analysis and face recognition are related. For instance, the gender shade study showed that some of the famous female black celebrities were mistaken as male, right? Like Michelle Obama, Serena Williams, and all these like examples that show that there is a huge bias in the existing software. And Amazon's response was that, oh, that's not face recognition, that's gender analysis.
And is that inaccurate?
So they're related, right? In fact, gender recognition is an easier task than recognizing the identity of the person. There's a lot of
men's tennis and women's tennis are completely almost two separate sports. So I'm like, if I were to play Andy Murray, I would lose 6-0, 6-0 in 5 to 6 minutes, maybe 10 minutes, because it's true. It's true. It's a completely different sport. The men are a lot faster, and they serve harder, they hit harder. It's just a different game, and I love to play women's tennis, and I only want to play girls because I don't want to be embarrassed. I would not do the tour. I wouldn't do Billie Jean any justice. So Andy, stop it.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna let you kill me.
I'm with you when it comes to tennis. I only want to play girls.
Now for part 2 of our series, in which we look back at the talented youngsters to have been profiled on Transworld Sport long before they became sporting superstars. This week it's tennis aces Venus and Serena Williams.
Konnichiwa. Bonjour. Hola. Hola.
Hola, yeah, hola.
It was November 1992 when Transworld Sport travelled to the United States to film with 12-year-old Venus Ebony Star Williams and her 11-year-old sister Serena Jamaica. We spent the day with them at the Rick Macy Tennis Academy in Florida.
Here's a question I'm sure you've been asked more than once.
Yes.
What do you want to be when you grow up?
Tennis player. I would like to be a tennis player.
Is there something else you want to be? What would you think?
A veterinarian. I think I'd be an archaeologist.
Really?
Yes.
What interests you about archaeology?
Mostly dinosaur bones, and then after that would be Indian civilization.
Pretty unusual career. If you were a tennis player, who would you want to be like?
Well, I like other people to be like me.
That's a good answer.
Born in Compton, California, one of Los Angeles' poorest suburbs, we learned that it was their father, Richard, who started them playing tennis before they were 5. He saw sport as their ticket out of the ghetto.
I had watched the tennis match on TV, and I really didn't see the match. When the match was over with, and they was giving this young lady $40,000 because she won the tournament. And I figured since I worked for $52,000 all year, and this girl make $40,000 in 4 days, I knew I was in the wrong business.
Venus and Serena were the only daughters born to Richard and his wife Oracene, who married in 1980. Oracene had 3 daughters from a previous relationship. To further develop their talent, Richard moved the family to Florida so that Venus and Serena could enroll at this tennis academy. They'd been here in the Sunshine State for a year by the time we met up with them. Back then, many in the American tennis world were already aware of the potential of the Williams sisters. Venus had played 63 junior tournaments and won them all, and Serena had won 50 of her 52 competitions. What set them apart was their outstanding athleticism and power.
What do you think is the best bit of your game?
The best part of my game? Go ahead. You want to go? Yeah. I think it would be my return serves or my backhand.
Yeah?
Yes.
Is that something you're working on at the moment?
Yes, I was.
What about you, Serena?
My backhand down line is my best shot. It's my favorite, too.
Is it?
Yeah.
However, when the family moved to Florida, Richard withdrew his daughters completely from the junior tennis circuit. He wanted to protect his daughters from the intense competition and allow them to concentrate on their studies. He believed that some girls were entering the competitive tennis arena far too early.
These girls, they're not developed physically nor mentally. They're not ready to play, and it haven't worked yet. And the third reason they shouldn't come out that early, it's too hard on the families. It tears the family to pieces. And we are a great family. And bringing the girls out late or later, it'll be better all around for the family, for the girls, for tennis. So in our case, we'll come out later.
So at this stage in their development, tennis was limited to just practice sessions that were overseen by their father, who had this to say about 12-year-old Venus.
Every champion that lives has 4 main qualities, and she has all those qualities. And you can't teach them, you have to be born with them. You have to be rough, you have to be tough, you have to be strong. And mentally, you just have to be unbelievable sound. She has every quality to be a champion, and she will be. And that's what makes Venus Venus. And Serena, it's something like a pet bulldog. She does, once she get a hold to you, she won't let go. Serena plays angles better than any woman or any man I ever seen play tennis. And she's so strong. And she hits the ball so well with a ground stroke, and her hands are just unreal. Serena probably be a better player than Venus. That's not to compare my girls, but she will be.
Rotate from the hips.
This glowing view of the sisters was reinforced by the Academy's owner, Rick Macy, who had previously been the coach of a young Jennifer Capriati.
There's no doubt in my mind, I've worked with enough good kids and pros. Both kids definitely can go as far as they want. I think the day will come that both kids might play each other in the finals of a Grand Slam. I think both of them have the capabilities to be top 5 in the world. Richard's very fortunate. It's lucky you get one in the family, but he has 2, and both the girls have that ability.
Venus want to win Wimbledon. Serena want to win the U.S. Open. And when I think about that, there are times, I wonder what would I do. And I know what I would do now. I would go back to the ghettos of Compton and get some of those gang members who used to protect my daughters from other gang members. And I would go get the members of the Crips and bring them to the U.S. Open and Wimbledon. And they would sit in box seats. And they would sit there and watch my daughter. And it would give so many other kids the opportunity to see that they can do it. And they would remember Venus and Serena. They would say, boy, they did it. I can do it. That's that little girl used to live on Marble Street, that little poor girl. And what they actually say is that little poor girl daddy drove that old Volkswagen, that broke down. So yes, I think sometime about them winning the big ones like the U.S. Open and Wimbledon, and we will win them one day.
It's not her job. It is your job to secure your soul and make sure that you are clinging to the mountainside that is Jesus Christ. You're not clinging to Sydney McLaughlin who? You're not clinging to Venus who? Serena who? Simone who? Farrah Fawcett who? James Lee Curtis who? None of them. You're not clinging to the beautiful men of America, because how pitiful if your identity as a female is clinging to a man. How pitiful if the style advice that you have followed since the 60s was taught to you by a man. Do big blush, do big bold rouge, darling. Why? Because he needs to cover those blade cut man cheeks. As I said, the Kardashians have people out here like straight clowns these days. And why? That is what they need. They need the BBLs to grant shape. You see, the other one cut like the side of a mountain has miraculously disappeared. That 6-foot child, Chloe, just miraculously disappeared. I think in 2018, 2019, came back as a small, petite blonde. And I said, Lord, do these people think that we are lacking the mental faculties? They think that we have enough brain cells left to go to jobs and pay taxes. And then we will not notice that this sister that was always towering over the other sisters suddenly went away for a while and came back and then told us, oh no, I had a bit of work done. The face is different. The bone structure is different. People dragged that woman, but eventually they gave up. They dragged her, trying to make her confess. And she kept saying, no, I admit I had a bit of surgery done. And people said, no amount of face surgery will chop off inches from your frame. Where did the rest of you go? You're not the same person. So we're living in America, and people will not accept that we're in a land where doubles play roles. We're in a land where doubles play roles. You do not know that at the high elite level, one person is popping off stage and another person is popping in stage. You think that it's only Mr. Macron's wife who can do that. You think it's only Mr. Macron's wife whose brother will pop off into disappearance and then Mr. Macron himself pops in as a woman. You think that's a French problem. You think here in America, with the overarching Hollywood that we have, you think that Hollywood wouldn't dare step off the set, off the soundstage, and come to us live and direct through documentaries, through this is my story. Then you see the celebrities coming out with their story. I was so much troubled. I lost my first child. So you're going to sit here, right? I'm younger than some of you, older than some, younger than some. So we're all going to sit here in this room of deception, and we're not going to count how many female celebrities all have lost their first baby. So, people cannot see because of their programming. Everything has been lined up in front of you. The scripts have been presented. Because if you sit and you tap into a Serena birth, I almost lost my baby story, and maybe you almost lost your baby, right there, you can see a point, a very powerful point for birthing is very powerful. You tap into a trauma birth story. That's your person. That's your spirit animal. She's your twin. We almost died having these big-headed kids. She didn't almost anything. Just took off her silicone belly bump and said, I'm springing back, and forgets how long it actually takes that belly wall to close. Right, women? Isn't that the story, that it can take months to heal that diastasis recti, I think it's called? Back powering that ball across the line. Because what do they actually know of the time gap? Demi Moore wearing a bump, back flipping across the stage in front of Ellen. Oh, I snapped back with beetroot smoothies. There you are, juicing the beetroot, because as far as you know, your twin spirit animal snapped back. So will you, except that you won't, because you actually lived the trauma. You actually had the big-headed baby. He did not.
I took up a little gymnastics.
No, no, you didn't.
Sure.
Gymnastics?
Yeah, a little bit. Would you like to see some?
Yes, I would.
I didn't want
Now be careful. Don't do anything stupid.
Okay, so maybe if I just have to get a little running start.
All right.
And maybe if they could just
Paul, get ready.
Move back a little
Look
bit.
out. Oh, my
A
goodness.
little music for me?
Be
Are you
very,
ready?
very
Okay.
careful. All right.
Okay, here we go.
All right. Look at that. What a lovely outfit.
Thanks, Dave.
Okay.
Okay.
Don't you need any talc or anything?
No, I'm all set.
Okay. Demi Moore, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, my God. Here we go. Jeez, what is... My God, I never would have believed it. Are you all right? Wow.
Thank you. Good morning.
Well, this is a heck of a book. You're very frank about the whole experience. And I want to start with the beginning because you're 18 years old. You arrive on the world stage. You dominate a race. And then there are these questions. And at that point, I don't think you'd even had a full exam or knew what was going on yourself. So there's a quote that you have in the book from a race official who says, she's a woman, but maybe not 100%. How do you process all of this going on?
And he
as an
said that at a
18-year-old?
news conference.
At a news conference.
At a news conference in front of the world, yeah.
For me, I'll say it's a disrespect. One should, respect one's human rights. I think for me, that's what pissed me a little bit at that moment. Then I was like, you know what? If you think I'm not woman enough, I'm going to show you on the track. Because that's what you do. I walk the talk.
Yes.
I run fast, I win medals, and then I talk later. And the goal was for me to go out there, win the gold so they can be pissed. And they were pissed.
Yeah.
Because after that, it was just the Caster Semenya saga.
Yeah.
And I loved it.
Yes.
You write about
Wonderful.
Olympians Usain Bolt, Michael Phelps, Kayla
Yes.
Ledecky, and you say that they weren't questioned when they were breaking record after record after record. Why do you think that you were scrutinized so much? And do you think that they should have been tested as well and questioned?
For me, it wasn't about men being tested. The question is always being about why regulate women's sports? Why women, when they do extraordinary things, genetically, they've been questioned. When a woman do phenomenal, there's something wrong about them. But when men do good, they are from another world.
They're praised.
They are praised. You understand?
Castor, so the race authorities are standing by their rules that have affected your career. They say they're necessary, reasonable, and proportionate as a way to protect competition for all women.
Yes.
What do you say to that?
It's nonsense because you can't say, if you say sports for all, and then you start regulating women, but then after that you say you want to act in the best interest of women, all women should be protected first. You got to show it, and you got to act like one.
Yeah, you've said, I am a masculine woman. That's what I am. I'm very comfortable in my own skin, but make no mistake, I am a woman.
Yes, definitely. I still stand by that word. I'm a woman. I'm good. I love myself. I like how I rock myself out there. I like how I present myself to the world. But people need to understand that when you understand your identity, you stick by that.
Yeah. It's a hugely consequential life story. There are implications here for a lot of other sports, for human rights globally. Castor Semenya, thank you very much for joining us. The book is The Race to Be Myself. It is available today. Pick it up.
A lie is evil. A lie is damaging. A lie brings in general sickness into the midst. Where lies exist, people's feet are not resting on the flat truth of reality. People are standing on a false platform. And what's going to happen when the day of the lie comes? What can we expect to happen when, as Proverbs 12:19 says, truthful words stand the test of time, but lies are soon exposed? What's going to happen when the lie's day of exposure comes? The false platform that people are standing on collapses. Now, depending on the size of the lie, it may be a small lie, which means it's a small platform. And when the platform collapses, everyone might just take a brief fall and get some surface wounds. But what happens when the lie is actually platformed up to the heavens? What happens when the gap between where reality is, where the truth is, and the lie is so large that it's almost several skyscrapers long? When the lie collapses, every single person who still insists on resting upon that lie is going to go plunging down to their destruction. Look at me. I am a woman. Hear me roar. May the real men please stand up. This Megan Fox that you were salivating over in Transformers, it's a man. This Jessica Alba, it's a man. A whole man. A freshly baked man from Whole Foods. A sir. Men! Sir, not today. No, sir, not today. Men. A whole man. A male man. The malest man of all.
By a woman, that's all they know.
Well, somebody must have paid for it.
Somebody did. It was charged to a phone number. Mine.
Well, that's a strange sense of humor.
Let me double your pleasure. This morning, I was contacted by somebody trying to reach you, Jill.
You're kidding. Nobody knew I was coming here.
A man named Paul Farino did. He phoned me just an hour ago.
Who is Paul Farino?
Oh, well, Paul designs and builds Formula racing cars. I haven't seen him in almost a year. Where is he, Charlie?
Good question. I don't know. Nobody knows. He doesn't have an address, a phone number, a contact, nothing.
Strange man.
In the news once again is Christine Jorgensen, shown being honored by the Scandinavian Societies of Greater New York at their annual ball and named as Woman of the Year. She modestly disclaims the credit for her accomplishment.
Thank you very much, Dr. Berlin. I want to say how deeply I am touched by this honor that has been given to me tonight, but I feel that those who should have been with us and were unable to be here are the ones that are really responsible for my success. That's my doctors and my friends. Thank you again.
Ye are gods. That's what Satan's been selling all along. That's always been the end goal. So every time people ask, why would God? Never ask, why would God? You should ask yourself, Lord, help me to understand. Help me to understand you. Never question God's motives because they are impeccable. And like he said, my ways are high above your ways, as high as the sky is above the earth. Never say, but why would God? God has a billion reasons. You just need to ask him if he would grant you the grace to understand 10. Because we're flesh and we don't understand him. And he's also working against an enemy who has got us fooled. And the enemy himself is not flesh. He's spirit. So two spirits working at a level above our heads. And then the flesh at the bottom constantly saying, I don't think this is God. He says, because they are living in the midst of lies, they refuse to know me. Do you hear that word refuse? What does refusing something mean? Celestial, can I get you anything? Oh, no, thank you. I'm fine, thank you. Yes, but everyone is having a meal now. I just want to make sure that you have something. No, I had something earlier. Thank you. I'm fine. Conscious decision, turning away what is offered. So he says that the reason his people are not getting to know him is because they live in the midst of deceit, and the deceit has entered them first. When deceit enters you first, what room do you think the Spirit of God will have? When the deceit gets into you and puffs up like yeast. I saw her children. Did you? Did you raise them? You took them to the park. You're the au pair that none of us knew you were. He says, deceit is the reason that they're refusing me. That means that what I've been saying here all along is actually factual, that people do love lies above truth. Jesus Christ is truth. Satan is the father of lies. People love the father of lies more than they love Jesus Christ. Then when you tell them, then they will say, no, I'm just being discerning. Discerning of what? How can you be discerning when you're in the midst of deceit and refusing to know God? People refuse to know God because when they hear God's truth and they say, God would never say that. How do you know what he would say if you're choked with deceit? If the leaven is inside you until it's bulging out of your eyes and ears and on your tongue like an overgrowth of candida, how would you know what he would say if you refuse him because you already are hosting lies from the environment around you? And so that's what God is saying here. A people dwelling in the midst of deceit tend to take on the characteristics of deceit, tend to take on the defensiveness of the deceit. Always remember that the deceit is the reason why you defend your programming. How dare anyone tell you that the pinups of your childhood were men? It's pride. How can anyone tell you that you were in love with a man as a young man? Your pride simply won't let you allow it, because then if you do allow it, if you do humble yourself to accept that it was true, before you can even reach repentance, you will have to deal with the emotions of feeling disgusted, with the emotions of feeling quite angry at being tricked. And well, you should be, for you were tricked. Your pinups were men. And I told you that once they had achieved these good-looking bodies that could then be cleaned up with digital imagery, any bulges flattened. These people have been playing with Photoshop long before you ever saw it as a free Adobe add-on. Once that part could be handled, they couldn't wait to take all their clothes off and lay in front of you. And that was part of the trickery. That was part of the prospering. They were successful through craft. They were successful through the means that they used. They lied to you. They lied to you. And now the hurt is there that they lied to you. The rage is there that they lied to you. And you don't know where to put these things. You don't know that you're supposed to take them to Jesus and confess. I did do these things. I did have these thoughts concerning these men who are women. I did have these thoughts concerning these women who are actually men. I did have these thoughts. I did do these things. And I need help to traverse this new landscape. That's what humility is. A humble person can always be told that you were lied to. And they will say, wow, I can't believe that I was lied to. What do I do now? And then God will say, come into my counsel. Let me teach you so that you can actually become the living Christian that Jesus Christ is expecting out of Matthew 24:4. He says, take heed that no man deceive you. That means that make it your business that nobody can fool you again. But how can you make it your business that nobody can fool you again when we can't even tell you that you've been fooled the first time? You're fighting it. The Bony Neck Brigade is fighting for their lives. My neck matches that neck. That's okay, sir. You don't have to be upset. If you're not able to tell the difference between male and female biology, then we just have to accept that you are where you are. Lies can be very bitter. And the one person who will never cover a lie is God. God will never cover a lie. God will never allow a lie to prosper. The Bible said, I've read it for you in Proverbs, is that what? True words will stand the test of time, but a lie must be. This is a command. A lie must be exposed. That means every lie has an expiry date. And it's very easy to see when the expiry date of a nation's lies come. All of a sudden, life outside, social life outside becomes very weird. All kinds of things start bubbling out of the inside of people. You can tell when the heat underneath a nation has been turned up spiritually, because people will begin to give voice to everything which is true. It's almost like they're on a timer. It's almost like they're being compelled. People will just start making confessions and saying things and saying things and saying things. And God also, as the leader of this nation, whether anyone actually thinks he deserves it or not, he is the leader and owner of this whole thing. God is going to lead the way in tearing down and exposing lies. So it's not just the speaker of the lies that Jeremiah is speaking about here. It's also the one who hears and participates in the lie. The one who wants to prop up the lie. The one who wants to say, I have questions and I have concerns because my neck is the same. You women that do this, you know very good and well that if someone walked up to you and told you that you look like a man, you would burst into tears and start insulting that person. You would feel so stripped of something that you don't even know that you have, which is precious. It's amazing why you need to gaslight yourself and lie to yourself. So because your neck is a bit skinny, you don't actually know all the other features that go with a man. Because you're only looking at the neck. You think I'm sitting here and I'm making hours and hours and hours and hours and hours of footage to bring God's people to fish them up because my hands are too small. So I'm literally just trying to use buckets and drums to fish them out of the lies. And then you think that you will come and you will destabilize this work talking about your neck that nobody actually can see and cares about. The only person who cares about your neck versus a trans neck is you. If you're not able to tell the difference, when then the both of you, good day, sirs. It's as simple as that. If you're not able to take hold, I'm holding the hot part of the pot and I'm turning it around and handing you the handle, which is not hot, and telling you, take a hold of this handle so that you can take this boiling pot off the stove. You're doing nothing. You have nothing to lose, but to actually open your eyes and stop being so dissonant, so gaslighting, and so much of a participant in the lie that you will not even do the minor work of a Berean to go and see if the things I say be so. Then all I can say is good afternoon, good evening, and good morning to you, sir. If your neck matches any neck that you have seen, and you're not able to add up all the other features, the gaze, the clavicles, the stance, this size, the gargantuan hands and feet, then may you and your brothers in the pictures prosper. Because the truth is that many of you women, you know better. You know better, but like I said, there are internal things driving your speech, and you're afraid to look at those internal things. So it's quick to externalize and say, that's not true, that's not so, because I saw her give birth. She has 2 children. No, she has 2 people in the house that she's currently feeding. Remember, people like Charlize Theron and Sandra Bullock, they simply go outside and they buy babies. They purchase their families. You just can't consider that purchased families can take place quietly. Stomachs can fold in front of you on international interviews, but who cares about that when mother is in the building?
I'm good. It's a beautiful baby bump. No wonder Beyonce is blooming. This really is Destiny's Child. First of all, congratulations.